Lately, I've talked to a ton of people who are struggling with something that we did early on, and I think a lot of couples struggle with it. Not everybody, but a lot do, and that's denying your reality. Rick says this all the time. If you can't accept where you're at, you'll never really get to where you want to go. Sometimes you don't even know where you want to go. And I lived in denial for a long time. I lived in what we call at Affair Recovery, pretend normal. We kind of go along pretending to accept the fact that we've done what we've done and that our life is in shambles. And also we refuse to maybe accept the ramifications of what we've done. We kind of go along as everything's good, everything's okay. And denying your reality is incredibly painful for everybody. It's excruciating for the betrayed spouse because the unfaithful isn't really tuning in to what's going on. Another struggle is when we hold on to the ideal. We hold on to the illusion of it has to be this way, and we don't accept the fact that our marriage, our life, is completely upside down. It's just a struggle. An incredible amount of people come to the point where they just are like, it shouldn't be this way, and I can't believe we're here. And I can hear it, man. They're struggling. They're trying to apprehend reality, and they just are still wanting to push it away and deny it. It's very normal. We all do it, but I want to tell you that you can't if you want to heal. You're going to have to come to the point where you say, look, this is what we have. And if you're an unfaithful, I would encourage you to get to the point where you can say, look, this is where we're at. I have done this. I have brought this upon our life. We've got to get help. And if there's one thing I want to tell you today, if there's one thing I want to encourage you to do, I've got a ton of things that I wanted to tell you, but I'm going to scrap all of them because I think this is one of the biggest issues. You've got to find the right people to walk with. You just do. And let me start by telling you who you can't walk with if you're in crisis because of infidelity. You can't walk with people in an intimate way right now that haven't been through infidelity and expect them to give you great insight on what you should do. You've got to find people that have gone through it before and that aren't jaded. If you just find that person that's been through it, she or he is a betrayed spouse and they hate everybody and everything, probably not the best person to take advice from. If you find an unfaithful and they're divorced and they didn't try and save their marriage and they still are living in denial or blaming their spouse for their affair, probably not somebody that you can walk with objectively, right? You need the right people. There's a number of different places you can find people to walk with and find community. The EMS Online is a great resource. The EMS Weekend is a fantastic resource. There's still people that came to an EMS 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago that meet together once a year. They run marathons, they do trips together, they hang out, they have dinners. I mean, you will find community if you try. But you have to find people that are going to help you walk down this road. Now, it's hard to find people that have been through infidelity. So you need someone who is going to be if you're a guy, you need a good brother. If you're a girl, you need a good sister-like friend that's going to be objective with you. That's just going to call your bluff. That's going to graciously and lovingly just tell you when you're being full of yourself. I mean, I had a guy, he had never been through infidelity, but he was a best friend of mine at the time, and he would say, well, tell me what's going on, and he would pray with me, and we would get together once a week for coffee, and there'd be times where he'd go, do you think maybe you're doing this? And he'd kind of look at me like, and there was some heated conversations, but he loved me enough, and he cared about me enough to tell me the truth. And you're going to have someone like that. If you're an unfaithful, you're going to have somebody go, yeah, but, because if you're spewing out all these justifications, and if you're kind of, releasing all this anger, there's probably going to be a point where that friend, brother, whatever, says to you, yeah, but what about this? If you're a betrayed, you've got to have a same-sex friend that's going to stand with you and go, man, it sucks. Absolutely, I can't believe it. It's horrible. What do you think you should do? Where are you getting help? Who are you talking to? Where are you going for expert help? You just have to have that. You have to have people that are going to not just kind of pat you on the back and just tell you what you want to hear. You can, with infidelity, I promise you, you will always find someone who will tell you what you want to hear. I had several altercations with Rick. Rick, very early on, the second meeting, I realized he was not just going to tell me what I wanted to hear. All my life, I had been surrounded by people that told me what I wanted to hear. Not Rick. He did it graciously, but he was very quick to tell me what I needed to hear, and you've got to find people like that that will tell you what you need to hear. Let me give you an example. One day I was talking to Rick, and I was a little bit apprehensive about the EMS weekend, and Rick kind of did a little Jedi mind trick on me, and he said, so what do you think you need to do? And I rattled off all these things, and all of them were rooted in this try harder, I got to do better. And he said, Samuel, with this real awkward pause, let me remind you that you have come to a point in your life that your best efforts have brought you here. Do you really think the answer is just trying harder or sucking it up? And I just kind of looked at him with a, no. I mean, Samantha was next to me. What was I going to do? Yeah, I could do this. I just was like, no. And he said, the answer is not in your ability to try harder. The answer is in you getting expert help and surrounding yourself with people who are going to tell you the truth and help you get to where you need to get. And I'll say the same to you. The answer is not in trying harder. The answer is realizing that your best efforts have brought you to this fiasco that you're in right now. And the best thing that you can do is find the right people. If you're a Christian, you can ask God to give you the right people that will surround you and care for you and love you. God never forsakes those that seek Him. And there's going to be some lonely times, but He'll give you people to stand with you and walk with you. If you're not a Christian, then you've got to do some good, strong, hard work to find people. You can find them in EMS Online, EMS Weekend, Harboring Hope, Hope for Healing. You can go to Beyond Affairs Network. There's an organization online that they have groups in certain cities of the country and find support systems there. I mean, there's a way for you to find people to walk with. But I'll tell you, Rick was a godsend and saved my life. I can't believe how gracious and merciful Samantha was. But I'll tell you also, getting people around us to care for us and support us and tell us what we needed to hear absolutely saved our lives.